to another episode of Bonafide, her podcast featuring the one and only Miss Francesca Faraci.
Thank you, Ashley.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
We blessed, and we wearing glasses too, so you know we just doing it today. We just
Yes, ma'am.
But I like your glasses. It's like just
Thank you.
fabulous. It's you. It even matches the thing that's on the background, like
The
the color
pink.
right there. Yes.
We love pink.
So let's get this started. So Miss Francesca, can you tell us like your sports story, how you got to where you are?
Yes, ma'am. So my name is Francesca Faraci. I am a college women's soccer player. I played for 4 years actually, I'll start a little further back. So I started playing soccer when I was 5 years old. My mom was the ultimate soccer mom from the beginning. And she helped me kind of stay committed throughout the whole process. So I played at some really high level clubs growing up, which helped me get recruited. Eclipse in Chicago, FC United in Chicago. And then I went to college at the University of Florida for 4 years. Go Gators. And now I transferred, we'll get into that, but I transferred to University of Illinois, Chicago for my extra 2 years of eligibility, where I'm now a Flame and also go to law school.
Oh, I know you were happy when Florida won the national championship for the men's basketball. So
yes, I was.
You had to do the chomp, the chomp. Yes, yeah.
Right over left for everyone, just so everyone knows. Right over left.
Oh, it was right over. I was like, okay.
I feel like people only know that if they went to Florida, though. But I think everyone should know. So
it's crazy because I was like, I used to watch Florida a lot back in the day, like for the basketball, and it's like, like I used to see the chomp, like the players, like especially if they committed to the Florida, they would do the chomp. But
yeah,
and I know Florida and Florida State don't like each other, so those games are always like the crazy lit ones. So
yeah, exactly. I can affirm.
So my question for you is, what was, from transferring from like going to a SEC school to say Illinois and Chicago, which is considered mid-major, what was that transition like for you?
Yeah, so my transition was a little different than other people's. So I don't believe I was ever in the transfer portal because since I played 4 years at Florida, and then I just stopped, like I retired from soccer because I decided I want to go to law school. I never like entered the transfer portal. And then when I was in my first year of law school at UIC, that's kind of when I started having conversations with the University of Illinois Chicago coach. And then he was like, wait, you have 2 years of eligibility left. And I was like, yeah. So I decided to play my second and third year of law school. So it was like kind of different, but it was definitely a smoother transition, I think, for me because I was already there, and then like the contacts, like he already recruited me in high school because he used to coach at Northwestern. So when he saw me playing then.
That's interesting because you don't hear like a lot of athletes balancing the type of workload that you are dealing with, like law school and soccer. It's unheard of for me because I was like, I've never heard of this. Like, I know my last guest, shout out to Raquel. She was saying she went from the D1 to D3 and she gone to the medical pre-med. I'm like, you don't hear that a lot, something like that.
No.
A lot of, correct me if I'm wrong, like usually a lot of like athletes, they'll go say, you have to, even if they wanted to take a certain like degree, they'll like say they'll have to take this one, so they take the workload off and stuff. So it's like, what if it's not what they wanted? So
yeah, well, that's why I'm in law school because I feel like we're really restricting college athletes at this point and they're getting nothing in return. So that's why I decided to go to law school to hopefully fight for like athletes to be able to take the classes they want to take or stuff like that and players' rights,
Absolutely. And first of all, shout out to you. I was like, the fact that you were a part of the athlete con and also got to like represent the O'Hagan-Meyer.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I was like, I hope I don't butcher it.
Yes, you're
I'm
right.
just the Me, it's just me. I just want everything to be precise. The fact that you did like it was almost like a dual thing that you did. Like you were you were participating, but also you were the presentation person. I was like, dang, how'd she do all of it? So, but my question for you is, you're also a NIL consultant. Like, what inspired you to be a consultant for the NIL and just get into like helping other athletes to where they're able to like learn more about, hey, I need to sign contracts, but I need to do better.
Yes. So how I got to that space kind of was I kind of started hearing about all these like horror stories of these athletes signing contracts that were like kind of them getting taken advantage of. And that kind of made me realize that NIL, it's such a great thing, right? And a lot of people don't really know how to do it, but a lot of people do. And I kind of went into it for two reasons. One reason, so that I can help people who are in like lower revenue sports advocate for themselves and get those name, image, and likeness deals because they deserve them just as much as everyone else. And two, to make sure that the people who are already getting those deals have someone to like review the contracts for them and negotiate the contracts for them and stuff like that. So my avenue to law school was essentially to make sure that I can negotiate the contracts and write them and edit them for the athletes in the best and safest way possible. So right now I'm like an NIL consultant, law clerk, because technically I'm still in law school. But once I graduate, that's kind of like what my goals are within the NIL space specifically, those two prongs.
Girl, could you be my lawyer, please? Cause
Yes, ma'am. In 1 year when I passed that bar exam.
man, I'm like, look, I got a lawyer. She ain't Casey Novak, but she better. She
Yes,
better.
ma'am.
Yeah, because
Love it.
it was funny because like when you like did the whole presentation, it was the Kahoot. They're like, "What's what do you think of lawyer? What do you think about?" And I was like, these things." And it's like, man, I watched too many Law and Orders. This is and
Yeah.
somebody put Olivia Bates. I was like, whoever you are, clutch right there. I was like, I would have never guessed, but ha, like,
Yeah. That game was funny because we actually, me and my mom were having, because, my mom went with me and was one of the presenters as well, because she's a partner at the firm. We were having bets about what people would say about lawyers. And we actually tied because the answer was money. And both of us had thought it had something to do with expensive. So I can't remember what her word was and mine was exactly, but we like tied in the middle.
man, because it was funny the way you like, oh yeah, she was the ultra. So I was like, I could picture a soccer mom just like I picture a soccer mom the one that wears like the specific sweaters that says the soccer mom and just go all out and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, she's the momager, the momager.
Oh, the momager. Hey, shout out to the momagers though. Shout out to the moms, and then like they're like, oh yeah, got my. It's like I don't have to pay for a manager. I already got one.
Yes, and a
She
lawyer,
got
'cause she's a lawyer too.
that's the best of both worlds. So.
Exactly.
But my question for you is when it comes to representation for both on and off the court, like especially for actually women's sports, how important is representation when it comes to both on and off the field as well as just being like considered a role model?
Yeah, so I think that representation is extremely, extremely important on the field, obviously, but I think it's more important off the field because you're a human being that is wrapped in a world that makes you think that you're just an athlete, right? But like Sam Green and I have talked about multiple times, all of us are more than athletes and we deserve to be treated more than an athlete. We're not even employees at the college level yet, but we're not even employees like at that stage yet. And we're kind of just treated like a lower level to anyone else, but we're the people that are helping the NCAA make all this millions of or billions of dollars. And I think that that's a reason why representation is super important because athletes think that they are just an athlete within that space because they're treated like that. It's not just something that you go into the sport and you're like, oh, I'm just an athlete. No, like you're treated like that from the coaches, from the NCAA, from the schools, from everything, right? So that's why, like, outside representation, a lawyer, a manager, an agent, all of them are super important, right? Even a financial advisor, because you need to have your own team. And as the athlete, you deserve to be the coach. Like, you don't always have to be coached by the coach. You can be the coach when you're living in the NIL world or you're living in the human rights world. You got to support yourself. So I think representation on the field is very important, but I think that I'm kind of in it for the long run of making sure everyone's protected off the field.
For sure, because it's crazy you mentioned how, like, especially financials and the managers and the lawyers, because in this day of age, I have noticed, or like we were talking about, like the horror stories when it comes to NIL, signing NIL deals. Some people claim that they're in the NIL, and correct me if I'm wrong. Like, you have like people that claim they are for the NIL or be agents for NIL, but then it's like they really in it for the money, don't and have no like, have no like want no best interest for the athlete that they claim that they want to help and represent. And I think to me that's one of the, it's almost like kind of sad because like there's so many great representations and representatives that really want the best for the athletes, but it's so hard for like the athletes to see that because like, hey, I've been done wrong, so I don't know who's really like really want what's best for me. So
Yeah, exactly. I do not disagree with you on that. I actually completely agree with you on that. And that's why, just before signing these agreements with the agents and the managers, whether it's your best friend from high school or someone you've never met in your life but represents a super popular athlete, it's really important to just have your lawyer and your outside person review that contract. And that doesn't mean like, oh, it's a shot at them, right? It just means it's protecting yourself. And athletes are taught so much throughout their lives that the only protection is getting playing time and playing. That is not the only protection, right? Like, you deserve to have the same rights that everyone else deserves to have. And trust me, no one is signing big contracts and contract reviews in the business world without a lawyer looking at it. So an athlete should have a lawyer look at it too.
for sure. And speaking of which, too, first of all, for those that don't know, we met at AthleteCon, y'all. Because and AthleteCon was amazing. So, but I wanted your input, like, how impactful was you to be able to not only participate at AthleteCon, but also got a chance to speak at AthleteCon.
Yeah, so that was an amazing opportunity. So our firm, we did the welcome party and we got to speak a little bit at that. And then we also did the 30-minute presentation where we were able to speak. And I think that the opportunity to be in front of a group of individuals that were there to learn. They all went there to learn and to become better athletes and to become more professional and have their brands, was an opportunity that not a lot of law firms are faced with, and an opportunity that not a lot of athletes are faced with. I think from both of my perspectives, it was extremely amazing. And I'm so grateful for Sam for having our firm and myself be a part of it, because you don't see that often.
For sure. Shout out to Sam.
Yes, always.
Because I mean, I feel like people like if and anybody that wants to get into the NIL like and like try to figure out content wise, like she is that go to person that everybody needs to go to, especially like hey, like she all about that content and NIL and stuff. And I think what she is doing and seeing the athletes there like yourself and everybody like just embrace and gather everything, getting the takeaways from what she is, giving is like, yo, this is super amazing. Like I'm here for it. Like it's just amazing how much like she like you see the love she has for the athletes and always wants what's best for them because like that's you see the passion she has for them. So
Yeah, passion is very, very important. It's very easy to read when, from my athlete perspective, not my lawyer perspective, even though I perspective, it's very easy to read when someone's a fan or when someone's not in it for the right reasons. And it is just really inspiring to be in an environment with a lot of people. So I kind of learned the way I want to act and the way I want to treat people, you know?
For sure.
And
Like,
Ashley, let me tell you, you are a great example of someone who I, sorry to interrupt you, who I really, really believe cares about the athletes. I don't really do a lot of podcasts unless I really believe that somebody cares about the athletes, right? And you see, you have your hat on, athletes advocate. Exactly. She actually is an athletes advocate. And I really am so grateful for the opportunity to get to meet you as well.
oh, so I'm about to cry. You could interrupt it. I don't mind. I was like, but okay, I'm about to cry later on. It's just because me, like for me, like I was telling you the other, like I was telling some of the people, like people don't understand. Like yes, as amazing the athletes are, like, but people gotta remember they're human. There's times like they just want to relax and just have a normal day, spend time with family. There's times where like, yes, they are put in a pedestal where like they are treated like gods and stuff, but like times they need to relax. Like folks don't understand. Like imagine I always have to like say, imagine having to get up at 5 in the morning to do workouts, early workouts, and then 8 o'clock classes and all
Yeah.
this other stuff. Like, and then especially like the biggest misconception for when it comes to athletes and college athletes is that they have it easy. I'm like, no, they do not.
Yeah, right. I know. That's what I literally try to tell people. I am a human being that I am involved in a lot of things. I'm employed from a 9 to 5 job. I am in law school. I'm a teacher assistant. I literally am a member of a moot court team, even though that hasn't started yet. But like being a college athlete has, yes, it's been the hardest experience for sure. Just being honest. No, like no hate on anyone, but being a college athlete is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And the way though that prepared me for the rest of the things I do and am able to do all these things at the same time is so inspiring and so amazing.
For sure. Girl, yes, you better let them. Cause this is the thing that I always say. Like I have, like I see in different aspects of stuff. Like I have seen it from like being a head manager from that aspect. I've seen it from being like say from in a staff aspect of when I was. But like for me, like to like I saw it from my own perspective of seeing certain things that I feel like dang, like the misconceptions is crazy that I feel like for me, like my thing is, and I wanted to ask you this, is like, what would you say is the biggest misconception outside what we were talking about? But what would you say is the biggest misconception about being a college athlete that a lot of people never?
Oh, I got my answer. That we're idiots, that we're not smart. See, I feel like I've proved that with my title on right there. But I think that's definitely the biggest misconception about athletes, whether it's another student, a teacher, or a coach. And I think it's really unfortunate because it's not true.
Girl, it's like that's crazy how it's like, man, she pulled that. It's like how in movies they pull out the like the
Yep.
stereotype of the dumb jock and stuff. Like, dang, like they really think we're not that smart. Like,
Well, you know what? I experience it in law school, honestly. And it's really sad and hurtful, to be honest. But I just proved people wrong. Like I just did really good in my moot court competition and made it to the quarterfinals. And I'm a really good writer because I was a journalism major. So I'm getting a little emotional, but it's because a lot of people feel that way about me in the environment I'm currently in, and think I just get to the places I get to because of that, or because my parents are lawyers, but it's actually because I work my butt off every day since the day I stepped on the soccer field at 5 years old, actually.
girl, you better be proud of yourself. You can be emotional. We here for it. You can be
Thank
emotional.
you.
You be proud of yourself because
Thank you. I
be
appreciate it.
be proud of yourself. I always literally have to tell folks, and I always say, yes, this is. I love how we like, yes, you have. I was like, that is part of my merch store. Yes, that's part of merch. And I created the Athletes Advocate broadcast channel because I let the athletes know, like, be proud of yourself. People
Yes.
don't understand like how much hard work you put in. Be proud of yourself. Like
Yes.
your progress is your progress, and your journey is
Wait,
your.
that hat's in your merch store?
Yeah, I have this in my merch store.
Okay, send me the link after this because I'm buying that.
Yay!
And
Plus,
every
it's
and you
actually
know
through
what? If
four.
you work in sports or plan on working in sports and you don't buy that hat, you're the problem. So
And it's actually on the fourth floor store. So I'm sending you the link for that.
perfect. Thank you. I'm getting it.
Yay! Yeah. So,
Good
but
marketing.
I'm gonna send you a discount code for it too. So I got.
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
love what's it called? We love this. People don't need to understand. Sometimes your biggest fans be the strangers. Strangers be your biggest fans, versus like the people that you known for the rest of your that you known for a long time. When it comes to business and stuff, I'm like, God dang,
Yeah, because people like to get jealous real quick, you know?
man! Don't they know jealousy is the ugliest trait though?
It makes them on ugly. So
Like like we already as women we already going through like different things like competitions like I don't want to compete another against another woman.
no,
That's not
let's work
me.
together. Let's work
Yes,
together, please. That's exactly how I feel. And that's why I will be purchasing the hat.
I'm here for it. So my question for you is, and we were just talking about this, I always say athletes are humans first, which is also on my merch store. Athletes are human first. So my question for you is, how as a lawyer, law student, a college athlete, and a woman, how important is mental health?
Ooh, very important. I've had my fair share of mental health issues throughout my life, and a lot of it has directly related to a specific coach that I had at Florida, and of course to like other coaches I've had growing up. I think that everyone's kind of now very aware of the college soccer coaching player relationships aren't always the healthiest, and I think that mental health for me in the sports sense at least has taught me mental health for the rest of my life, right? So if I'm struggling with an exam or something or studying for something that I feel like the other people get or I don't get, I kind of like make sure that I reflect on how I'm feeling and everything before I deal with the issue. And I try to do that with other people too, because like I said, I've been through a lot of mental health problems with soccer for sure, right? And I've gone through that with my teammates and became way stronger. But now it's really important to me to help share with others like my strategies. And I love my therapist so much. She's the best. It is a good thing to have a therapist, whether you're the best human being in the world mentally or the worst human being in the world mentally. Having that space is 110% something that athletes are going to need for the rest of their life because we kind of have an all in, all out mindset. So we got to make sure that we level the playing field with ourselves sometimes.
Man, because man, I don't know if you've ever seen like those what's it called? Those content creation ones where if you've seen on TikTok where like it's the you're so funny and then like they'll have the apple like thank you and then they explain like their trauma or horror story on like oh why they thought they were so funny why
Yeah.
I'm like yo this is real life like just to hearing these horror stories I'm like man and it's that's like because I don't know if you heard of what happened. I was like, I don't know if you heard of what happened the other day. Somebody, the lady from, she does.
Alex Cooper.
Yes,
Yes.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
this
I
is.
know.
I'm
And
like,
that happens everywhere, unfortunately. The manipulation, I feel like, with college coaches, well, not everywhere. There's some really good coaches. And I had an amazing coach who recruited me to Florida. She's amazing, but she retired. Um, and I think that the idea that people are completely unaware of the manipulation in college athletics. And again, it doesn't just happen in soccer, it happens like at all for all people. And it's because of the power that they have over the athletes, unfortunately.
and it's crazy because nowadays it's like, and I always like I have reminded some of my like to me like for me I feel like it's so important to have a like if I was a coach or I help athletes. Like for me, if I was a coach, I want to have that like great relationship with my athletes because especially like if say they move on and stuff, like they have that great relationship with the athletes and the coaches, and like say, hey. I need like a reference. They can come to that coach and like, hey, I need like, can I like use you as a reference, or you know,
Mhm.
they can invite them for their weddings and stuff.
Yes, exactly. I exactly. You know, and it's just it takes a special person who's going to go out of their way. The coaches have to go out of their way to learn about leadership, to get their masters, and making sure that they whatever you got to do to make sure you can handle like people and coaching them, right? And they have to go out of their way and do it on their own. And hopefully one day we can see a change with that, right? Where it's required in order to coach college kids.
For sure. And my question for you is, as you know, how do you, with everything that you're doing with soccer and academics and being a law student, like how do you manage the time and balance everything as well as being an NIL consultant all at once?
Yeah, so I use Outlook as my calendar and I rely on it heavily. I set 15-minute reminders and day of 9 a.m. reminders. And I kind of just like make it very obvious to like my friends and family that if I'm at the point in my life that if like you need something from me, that's fine. I'm always going to be there to help you. I'm always going to be there to help hang out with my friends and do fun and social things. But right now, like, I just need like a warning so I could put it in my calendar. And I think that that's like helped me maintain my relationships with my friends and has also helped me like continue to grow and make new ones because I don't like to let people down. I mean, I know everyone doesn't, but I really don't like to let people down. And right now, my focus is on not letting college athletes down and continuing to push for the right things. So, my friends and family know that though, for sure. So, they make sure that if they need me or something, that we just plan it out, right? And we use the Outlook calendar a lot.
Girl, I feel you on that. I don't like letting people down at times too. It's like, damn. I was like, that's not what I was, Amy, that's not what I wanted to do when I woke up in the morning. Like, that's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I was planning on anyway. I was like, I'm not trying to let them down, but man, like,
Yeah,
it's like sometimes,
exactly.
I realize sometimes you don't have to have all the answers. So, but then
Exactly.
again,
And
you know,
that's so powerful. That's so powerful, Ashley. I was
because
literally
if you
talking about
had
go ahead, sorry.
I was going to go ahead because I was like, sometimes you don't got to have all the answers because sometimes if you have all the answers, then it can get very annoying. Like, ain't nobody, I don't have the time to like be with somebody that knows it all and has it in their face. I'm like, okay, like, I'm glad you
Yes.
know a lot of things, but you don't have to rub it in my face. Like, I'm already struggling already, but don't rub that in my face like that.
Yeah, and you know what, Ashley, let me tell you something. If people don't realize that they need others to succeed, they need others that look like them, they need others that don't look like them, they need people who are different to succeed, that's on them. They can go find those people that look like them, right? You go out and you work with the people who want to work with you and actually notice that you have a passion for what you're doing and care for other people. So, that's part of the workforce, unfortunately, especially as a woman.
Man, because Lord have mercy, it's crazy because like, you know, it's a whole lot. Like it's a whole lot that goes against us at times, and it's like, man. But at the same time, like what's it called? I mean, at times, like sometimes I'll be like, man, do y'all not know you can't live without us? Like y'all can't live without us. Like I understand you can think that you can't live without us, but you possibly cannot. I mean,
Yeah, let's go back to science here and maybe who knows though. I'm not going to speak on science. That's up for my sister because she's getting her PhD. So that's for her
I,
to talk about.
oh, girl, my sister was a person that did college softball and chemistry. I said kudos to you because I don't know. No, you got it. I don't. I will stick to what I know. Chemistry and biology. The closest thing to biology is that we were made out of biology. God made us out of biology, and chemistry is, you know, oh, we got a thing going on. Like that's the chemistry. I knew it. We got a
I
thing going on. So,
That's so funny because I really feel like I'm in the same spot. High school science was far away from me.
And getting up at 8 o'clock for biology lab, I was like, you know what? Trying. I'm pushing. I'm trying. Like, I'm trying. But I ain't got to. I will say, I ain't got to worry about. I apologize for all the college athletes that got to worry about the 11:59 p.m. deadlines because I know how much of a nightmare that is. The 11:59 p.m. deadlines for the papers and all them homeworks and then discussion boards.
That's so funny. Yes, 11:59 after the game. How am I supposed to submit my thing out at 11:59?
Man, and then the discussion boards. Folks on the discussion boards where they'll tell you like, look, you can only say you can answer, but then you have to answer like two other responses. And then those two other responses that you're trying to answer, ain't nobody doing it like the day of. They're like getting it done on the day of. And I'm like,
Yeah, because we have a game. Yeah, exactly.
and I'm like, so I had to wait 2 days, like on the day of, to respond to y'all, and y'all not making it harder. Y'all making it harder for me. I was
I
supposed to be
know.
one day apart.
That's so valid. I literally would have to put things in my calendar and be like, remember to respond to other people when game ends at 9:45.
And then on top of that, they'll say, you got to say more than just I agree or disagree. Like, well, you wanted our opinion. I just wanted to answer that question, the prompt. That's it. I didn't come or ask to just respond to other people and then have to get PAs and all this other like references to put my claim in. If I wanted to do that, I could have gone to a different. This is not.
Exactly.
I didn't ask for this. We already got 10-page papers I got to deal with. We already got that. Like
That's so funny, Ashley. I love it.
it's like I love it. I would say this. I love the teammates I was working with and stuff. All the academics and all the papers and projects and group projects. Oh God, don't get me started on group projects, especially the ones that like if you like
They
you
don't
have,
help.
some of them don't even do the work, and then it's like, hey, did you do like? Yeah, I did all the work. You just there for the participation. I'm trying to get an A, and you messed this up, and you didn't even rehearse with me and do all this stuff. You messed this up.
Yes, very frustrating for sure.
It's like I didn't sign up for group projects. If I it's like, you know what, is there a way I could do a solo project on this group project? I just want to get a great grade. I don't want to mess up my grade.
Yeah.
I want my GPA to be valid, not dipped because
Group projects are good, I feel like, if you have the right people in like the workforce area. But in the college setting and academics, it's a little stressful.
man, for real. So, but my question for you is, see, folks, I just want to say this is the passionate in us. I just want to say that this is the passionate in
Yes,
us.
ma'am.
So we just very passionate. We're not aggressive. We're just very passionate, y'all.
Yes.
We're just very passionate. We just
Yes.
this is what happens when you have those the moments of like memories of what's it like as a college athlete or a college student back in the day. And you're like, man, I don't miss this, but I do miss it at times. Like, I miss the being with people, but the deadlines, no, I'm good. I just want to get every work done, completed. I don't want to have to wait till next week to get everything completed. Just open all the schedule work so I could just get everything completed and then have to not worry about another thing. So, but
Exactly.
so my question for you is, if you had to describe your journey, whether it's multiple words or phrases, what would it be?
The overall journey.
Yes.
Unstoppable, probably, because I've gone through some abusive coaches. I've gone through failing an exam. I failed my first law school exam. Well, I didn't fail it. I got a D, but like the first exam in law school, not playing at the beginning when I got to UIC, kind of people not believing that I could get clientele and athletes to back me, which is like kind of crazy though, because like I think I do a really good job. I do a really good job at that. Just like, yeah. And I don't know, not all coaches believing me. and I just keep going. Like, that's something my mom always says about me. Francesca never gives up. And I think anyone that really knows me or takes the time to work with me, whether it's as a teammate or as a like client, right? I will never give up for the people that I'm fighting for or myself.
You better let them know. Let them know what it is. Let
Yeah.
them know. Because ain't nobody got time to give up. I mean, we have a purpose to fulfill,
I know.
Like, we here for a reason. We woke up. I know I made it on God's wake up list. Hey, how you doing? What's up? What's going on? I put that.
Exactly.
I would say my thing is you could be the healthiest person in the world and still your time could be up. You could be the healthiest person in the world and still
Hmm.
be called home. Because, a lot of things people don't understand that these days a lot of people take life for granted, take the people that they have for granted. It's like, man, if you knew how good you got it with the people in your life, and I'm pretty sure you do, you just so blinded by something. I don't know, maybe your ego, but
Yeah, I don't know
it's
why people do that. It's but I think that everyone, right? You go in the reason that I think people struggle with that sometimes is because they don't put themselves in uncomfortable situations. I am a very, very privileged person and I'm very aware of that. Both of my parents are lawyers. I went to a really good college. I go to a really good law school. And I've been supported a lot of my life. I know I'm privileged. But in order to realize my passion to help other people, I have to put myself in uncomfortable situations and see, like, damn, and realize, reflect, oh, I don't have everything. Oh, I'm really lucky that I have a bed. I'm really lucky that I have a doctor. Like the simple things that people don't realize because they don't go into an environment where people don't have those things because they don't want to be uncomfortable. And that's a huge problem.
you gotta get uncomfortable to get comfortable. You have to.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, like, sometimes you have to go through trial tribulations to understand the true meaning of what it means to be joyful or what it means to, like, actually go through the pain of having to, like, man, like, I worked so hard and all this stuff, all the, yes, I didn't like saying, hearing no's by people that I thought was like, my friends and stuff, but hearing a yes from somebody that shoot out the blue didn't know him from Adam's
Right.
apple, but
Mhm.
it only takes the right people to, like, actually support and stuff. And that's why for me, when, like, me and you and Savannah was so adorable. I was like, oh,
Love
so
her. She's a sweetheart. She's awesome. Since day one, I met her till, I guess, June 20th.
man, it's crazy because, like, that's why I always want to get people like, look, y'all need to go to AthleteCon, sign up, and this is what happens because you meet with people that are grinding just like you, and that you are around people that are very supportive, like that want to see you win. Like, yes, they may be different from every aspect of the world, but they want to see you win at the end of the day. Like, they working hard and stuff. So I think that's one of the best things about one of the main. I always say one of the many amazing things about AthleteCon is the connections you build, and you're surrounded by people where you are heard and seen. Because I always tell people, you gotta go where you are appreciated, seen, and heard, not tolerated. Because there's a difference between being
Yes.
tolerated and being appreciated. So
Yes. 100%. I actually have never heard someone say that line, but that's awesome. There is a huge difference between being a person that's just checked off the list and someone who actually cares about others.
I'm telling you, like, I had to learn that hard lesson that back last season. I was like, you know what, it's time. Because if you know your value, know your worth, that's shit. Like, look, this is. I'm not gonna just, like, look now. I know my talents and everything, but it's to the point, like, look, it's gonna take the right people to see you for you. And
Exactly.
if and those people that you know for a long time finally see you for you, and be like, man, I try to tell you, I try to prove to you, but you gonna feel me without feeling me.
Right. I
More.
know. I
So
know. I feel that in a lot of areas of my life, not just sports. you know. So, but it's okay. People sometimes move slower. So,
It's like we'll give you grace, but just know like it's okay. But so I always ask my guests this question, and bona fide means authentic and unique. So what makes Miss Francesca Faraci? Yes, I hope I said your name right. I hope I said it right. Did I say it right?
yes, you did. Yes.
Yes. Sorry. Okay. So for those that know, it's Faraci. Almost
Faraci.
like Versace, but better. Faraci. It's Faraci. So what makes Miss Francesca Faraci bona fide? What makes your story stand out?
Like a sentence or a word?
It can be anything.
Okay. Probably the fact that because I'm an experienced athlete, college athlete, and I've gone through like the things I've explained that I've gone through, I am somebody who can connect with athletes in a way that is trustworthy because it should be trustworthy, and in a way that kind of just like, I don't know how to word this. I'm like a warrior for athletes. I'm not in this for myself. That's what makes me stand out. I am, like I said, very privileged and I'm so lucky and I want to succeed and be successful myself, of course. But that's not number one for me. What's number one for me is being a warrior for the athletes. And when they can't be a warrior for themselves, helping them have one.
Oh, you better let them know. Let them know. Ow. It's like Wonder Woman. She a Wonder Woman.
Thank you.
You you let them know, Miss Francesca. You let them know.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Miss Francesca, can you let the viewers and folks know how and where they can find you, like follow you on social medias, and if there's any upcoming events happening?
Yeah, so my social media Instagram is francesca.faraci, spelled the same way you see it on the screen. My TikTok's also francesca.faraci. I am currently employed at O'Hagan Law Firm, and you can watch my games on ESPN Plus in the fall. So, yay. I promise you we're going to win the conference this year and get my team and myself a ring.
And here's the thing, I barely watch soccer, but just because it's you, I'm watching it.
Thank
Just
you.
because you made it so like
Thank you. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a goalie. So I get really intense back there. I think that's part of who I am. Like I always have my teammates' backs, always have my friends' backs, always have my family's backs.
that fits you perfect. That fits you perfect. The way you describe it, I was like, that fits you perfect. It's like you have everybody's backs. Like
I do. I really do. You could ask my center backs. I promise you they'll tell you I have their backs.
I was like, that fits you perfect. That position fits you perfect. Now I see what you know what? Like that everything
Full
that you
circle.
it's like everything you said fits you perfectly. So
Thank you.
thank you guys for tuning in to episode 144 of Bonafide Her podcast featuring Miss Francesca Faraci herself. That was my little blooper, y'all. This is a real podcast. I have bloopers, so bear with me, y'all. So be sure to check out the queen herself. You can check out the live replay of episode 144 featuring Miss Francesca Faraci. After this, thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.